Hello, everyone, and welcome back.
Hello. Great to be here.
So today we are tackling what I think is a genuine nightmare scenario.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean a monster under the bed or, showing up to work without your pants on.
Okay, good. That's a relief.
I mean a very specific, very social nightmare that I think almost everyone listening has probably experienced at least once in their lives.
I think you're right. It's almost a universal human experience, especially for anyone who's ever tried to learn a new skill.
Picture this. You've been studying something. Let's use our source material for today as the example. So you're learning a language. Could be Spanish, French, English. It really doesn't matter. You've been hitting the books. You're listening to podcasts on your commute. Maybe you're even watching movies without subtitles.
Right. You're feeling good.
You feel great. You feel confident.
You are firmly inside what we could call the comfort zone of learning. You're processing information and you understand what's happening around you.
Exactly. You're thinking, I've got this. I am a language god.
Right. And then the real world happens. You travel, you walk into a cafe in a foreign country. The barista looks at you, smiles, and says a really simple sentence, something like, "What can I get for you?" And then it's just silence.
The freeze.
The freeze. The brain just reboots. It's the blue screen of death for your mouth. Your mouth opens, but absolutely nothing comes out. You know the words. You know the grammar. You have heard that exact sentence 1,000 times, but you physically cannot make the sound.
And you're just standing there.
Just standing there. Why does that happen?
It is, without a doubt, the single most frustrating aspect of acquiring a new skill. It's what's known as the input versus output gap. And today, we are going to solve it.
I'm glad to hear that.
We're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating set of source materials from a podcast called the English Upgrade Podcast. And we're going to analyze the methodology of the hosts, Ryan and Mary.
And this isn't just, a list of language tips. We have something really, really cool to look at today. We're going to deconstruct a document that they use behind the scenes. Oh, this is the best part.
It's their guest interview template. It's the actual script they use to guide non-native speakers through a full conversation on their show.
And that document is just fascinating because it reveals the architecture of how you make someone feel comfortable enough to speak. It's a masterclass in psychological safety.
It really is. But before we get to that, we have to understand the core problem. The motto for Ryan and Mary's show is "Speak with power. Be understood everywhere."
Which is a great tagline, sure.
A great tagline, but we want to know what's happening under the hood. How do you actually get from paralyzed in the coffee shop to speaking with power?
That's the billion-dollar question.
Right, because when I'm freezing up like that, it feels like a personal failure. It honestly feels like I'm stupid. But the source material, right off the bat, says this has absolutely nothing to do with intelligence.
Not at all. It's not about IQ. It's about biology. It's about how your brain is wired. Ryan and Mary make a very, very sharp distinction between input and output.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to me, language is just language. If I know it in my head, why can't I say it with my mouth?
Well, think about how the brain actually works on a mechanical level. When you're listening to a podcast or reading a book, you're engaging in what neuroscientists call recognition memory.
Recognition memory. Yeah.
Your brain is receiving data. It hears a sound, let's say the word apple, and it just scans your internal database. It matches that sound to an image, a concept.
So it's a matching game.
It's a matching game. It's a passive process. It's like browsing a library. You just have to find the book that's already on the shelf.
Okay. That feels easy enough. The book is there. I just see it and I grab it.
Exactly. But speaking is a whole different beast. Speaking is recall and construction.
Recall and construction.
It's not just finding the book, it is writing the book from scratch in real time, while an audience of one is watching you and waiting.
That's a lot more pressure.
It's immense pressure. You have to retrieve the word from thin air. You have to organize the grammar and the syntax. You have to physically coordinate about 100 different muscles in your jaw, your tongue, your larynx, your diaphragm.
Wow.
And on top of all that, you have to monitor the social reaction of the person you're talking to see if they're even understanding you.
When you put it that way, it's a miracle anyone speaks at all. That just sounds exhausting.
It is a massive cognitive load. That's the term psychologists use for it. It's the amount of working memory being used at any one time. Listening has a very low cognitive load. Speaking has an incredibly high one.
The source material uses a really great example to illustrate this exact gap. They talk about the phrase, "Can I help you?"
Right. Probably the most basic retail phrase in existence.
If I hear, can I help you? I don't even have to think about it. I don't parse the grammar. I don't think, oh, can is a modal verb.
Yeah.
My brain just instantly understands the meaning.
It's an automatic process.
It's totally automatic. But if I'm the one who has to ask for help,
Then the panic sets in.
total panic.
You're standing there and your brain just explodes with questions. Okay, I need to be polite. So do I use can or could? Is may too formal? What's the word for help again? Is it assist? Is it aid?
All of a sudden, I'm thinking about sentence structure and formality instead of just asking for a cup of coffee.
Exactly. You enter what we could call editor mode. You're overanalyzing the construction of the sentence. And that hesitation, that freeze, it isn't because you don't know the language, it's because you haven't built the neural pathways for production.
Okay, so the pathways are different.
Completely different. You have really strong pathways for reception. The road into your brain is a superhighway. But the road out, it's a little dirt path full of potholes and weeds.
That makes so much sense. It reminds me of watching professional sports.
Yeah.
Like, I can watch a basketball player make a free throw. I understand the physics. I know the ball has to go in the hoop. I can even criticize them if they miss. But if you put the ball in my hands, I am going to airball it every single time.
That is the perfect analogy. It's absolutely perfect. And the argument from Ryan and Mary in the source material is that most language learners spend 90% of their time watching the game,
Listening and reading.
and then they're completely shocked when they get on the court and can't make the shot. They have what's called the illusion of competence.
The illusion of competence. I like that phrase. It sounds right.
It feels right because it is right. You think you know it, but you've only ever practiced one half of the skill.
So we've identified the problem. We are all expert watchers and complete novice players. The source material breaks this down even further into what they call the 5 barriers to speaking.
Yes.
And I want to go through these one by one because I think everyone listening will probably identify with at least 2 or 3 of these.
I'm not going to lie, I identified with all 5 of them.
Yeah.
These are deeply, deeply human barriers.
Okay, let's start with barrier number 1. And it's probably the biggest one. It's the fear of mistakes.
This is the big one, for sure. Ryan points out that many learners, and honestly, not just language learners, but adults learning any new skill, operate under a major fallacy.
What's that?
They believe that perfection is a prerequisite for participation. They think, I will speak when I can do it without making a single error.
It's the I'll go to the gym once I'm fit mentality.
Exactly.
It makes no sense when you say it out loud, but we all do it. We feel it.
We do, and it's a trap that keeps you from ever starting. The source offers a mindset shift here that is really, really critical. They say fluency comes before perfection.
Fluency comes before perfection. I want to drill into that a little bit because in school, we are taught the absolute opposite.
We are.
We get red marks on our papers for every mistake. We get graded down for every little bit of inaccuracy.
And that is the damage of the traditional academic system. It teaches us that mistakes are failure. But think about a river. A river flows. It might be muddy, it might have branches and debris in it, but the important thing is that it moves. That is fluency. Flow. Perfection, on the other hand, is a stagnant pool. It might be perfectly clear, perfectly still, but it goes nowhere.
That's a great image.
Ryan and Mary are arguing that you need to get the muddy water flowing first. You can always clean it up later. But if you stop the flow entirely because you're afraid of a little mud, the whole river just dries up.
So they are, in effect, giving the listener permission to be messy.
They are mandating it. They're saying if you aren't making mistakes, you aren't trying. You aren't pushing the boundary of your ability. Mistakes aren't failures. They're just data points. They are road signs telling you what to fix next.
I love that. Okay, barrier number 2, the translation trap. This is one I struggle with personally in a huge way.
Oh, this is a killer. It's a mechanical inefficiency in your brain. The source warns very strongly against thinking in your native language.
So walk us through the actual mechanics of this trap. What's happening in my head?
Okay, let's say your native language is Spanish. You see an object, a table, your brain immediately thinks the word mesa. Then your brain has to perform a calculation. Okay, mesa equals table. That's step 1. Then you have to formulate the rest of the sentence in Spanish, translate each word into English, and then finally you can speak.
Wow, that's like 4 or 5 steps.
It is. It creates what's called latency. It's like having a really bad internet connection in your brain. You are constantly buffering. By the time you have translated your thought from Spanish to English, the conversation has moved on. You will always be 3 seconds behind everyone else in the room.
It's exhausting too. I've experienced this. After 10 minutes of that mental gymnastic, you just need a nap.
It burns a huge amount of glucose. Your brain is working overtime. The goal, according to the source, is to rewire that initial association. You want to see the object, the table, and have the English neuron fire immediately.
Table.
You need to cut out the middleman, the translator in your head.
We'll definitely talk about how to do that in the tactical section because that sounds so much easier said than done.
It is, but it's doable.
Let's look at barrier number 3, passive versus active practice.
This goes right back to your basketball analogy from earlier. Ryan and Mary are very, very blunt here. Their point is, listening is not speaking. Reading is not speaking.
It's some tough love because listening really feels like work.
It does.
If I listen to an English podcast for an hour on my way to work, I feel like I studied. I feel productive. I check it off my to-do list.
And you did study. You just studied listening. You did 0 reps of speaking. This is what feeds directly into that illusion of competence.
Oh, there it is again.
You understand more, so you think you can say more, but the muscles in your mouth haven't moved. The neural pathways for controlling your tongue and lips haven't fired once. The source is crystal clear. You must physically produce sound to improve the skill of speaking.
You have to make noise.
You have to make noise.
Okay, barrier number 4 is one that I think social media has made a million times worse. It's a comparison game.
Oh, this is the great killer of motivation, comparing yourself to native speakers.
You're on Instagram or YouTube, and you hear a native speaker just rattling off complex sentences, using slang, being funny, being charming, and you just feel like a toddler trying to say cookie.
It's brutal. But the source provides a much-needed reality check here. They remind us that native speakers have been practicing 24/7 since they were born.
Right.
A 5-year-old native speaker, they calculate, has had roughly 43,000 hours of immersion and practice.
Where is these 1,000?
43,000. And you've had, what, 2 hours a week in a class?
When you do the math like that, it's actually kind of depressing, but it's also liberating in a weird way.
It is, and there's a quote in the source material that I just absolutely love. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle.
Ooh, that is strong. Say that again. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle.
When you talk to a native speaker, you are seeing their finished product. You didn't see them when they were 3 years old, crying because they couldn't pronounce the word spaghetti correctly.
Hey,
You are comparing your messy, first rough draft to their final, published, and edited manuscript.
Yeah.
It is a fundamentally unfair comparison.
It really is. Okay, finally, barrier number 5. This one is called vocabulary hesitation. It's the tip of the tongue syndrome.
The worst feeling. This is when you know the word, you can see it in your mind, you know it starts with a B, but you just can't grab it. It just won't come forward.
Why does that happen? Is it just memory loss? Am I getting old?
No, it's an indexing issue. The source explains this as the difference between your passive vocabulary and your active vocabulary.
Okay, what's the difference?
Think of your mind like a business. Your passive vocabulary is a huge warehouse out back. It's got thousands and thousands of words that you recognize when you hear or see them. But your active vocabulary, the words you can grab instantly in a high-stress situation, that's the small storefront window display.
A warehouse versus a storefront. I really like that.
The source argues that the solution isn't to just stuff more things into the warehouse. Most learners have plenty of words back there. The problem is they haven't moved the most important high-frequency items into the storefront where they're easy to grab.
So you're digging through boxes in the back looking for a specific word while the customer is standing at the counter waiting.
Exactly. You don't need to know the word for photosynthesis to survive a coffee shop interaction. You need the basics. Help, go, have to be lightning fast.
Yep.
You need to stock the shelves in the storefront.
Okay. I feel like we have thoroughly diagnosed the illness. We've got the 5 barriers: fear, translation, passive habits, comparison, and the vocabulary gaps.
Yes.
Now let's get into the cure. The source material outlines a tactical training plan to, as they say, rewire the brain.
And I really like that they call it training. It's not studying. It reinforces that muscle analogy. This is a workout for your mouth.
Step 1 is so simple.
Yeah.
Start small.
Yeah.
Which sounds completely obvious, but I think people skip this all the time.
They absolutely do. They try to write a novel before they can write a single sentence. The host in the source, Ryan, highlights the advice to abandon complex grammar at the very beginning.
So don't try to use the past perfect continuous tense on day 1.
Please don't. Just focus on subject, verb, object. I want coffee. She is here. We are going. Build the absolute foundation.
Right.
If you try to build a giant cathedral in quicksand, the whole thing will sink. But if you build a small, sturdy shack, you can always add to it later. You need to build confidence through completion. Finishing a simple sentence feels so much better than failing at a complex one.
Okay, step 2 is a very specific technique for Mary. And honestly, when I first read this, I thought, this is going to make me look and feel insane. She calls it narration.
Yes, it's a brilliant technique for breaking that translation trap we talked about. But yes, it does require you to look a little bit crazy for a few minutes a day.
So what is it?
Mary suggests narrating your life out loud as it happens.
Give us the play-by-play. What does this actually look like in practice?
You're just walking around your house. You say out loud, I am opening the door. I am walking into the kitchen. I am looking for a spoon. The spoon is silver.
So I'm essentially the narrator of the movie of my own boring life.
You are. And yes, if your roommate or your partner walks in, they will probably think you've lost it. But here is the neuroscience behind why it works so well.
Okay.
You are connecting the physical action, the act of holding a spoon, directly to the English word spoon. You are completely bypassing your native language. You aren't asking, what is the word for spoon?
Yeah.
You are holding the object and saying the word.
You're binding the concept to the English sound.
You're binding them together. It bonds the word to the reality, and it's so low stakes, the spoon isn't going to judge your grammar.
The fridge isn't going to laugh at your accent.
Exactly. It allows you to get the mouth reps in without any of the social anxiety. You are building volume. If you do this for just 20 minutes, you might speak 200 or 300 sentences. That's probably more than you'd speak in a week of a traditional class.
That's a good point. Okay, step 3 is shadowing. Now, I've heard this term in language learning circles before. It always sounds like some kind of spy technique.
It does, doesn't it? It's essentially karaoke for spoken language. Ryan and Mary define it as listening to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast or a YouTube video, and repeating what they say immediately after they say it, like their shadow.
But there's a nuance here, right? It's not just about mumbling the words under your breath.
No, not at all. The source puts a huge emphasis on prosody. That's a technical term for the rhythm, the stress, the music of the language.
English has a very weird music to it. We go up and down in strange places.
It really does. English is a stress-timed language. We tend to eat some vowels and really shout others. We say si, late, not chocolate. If you just say the words like a robot, you won't be understood, even if the words are correct. Shadowing teaches you to mimic the emotion and the melody.
So if the speaker in the audio sounds angry, you should try to sound angry. If they pause for effect, you pause.
Exactly. You are trying to inhabit their voice. This trains your brain to accept the natural patterns of English. You stop fighting the language and you start flowing with it. You stop worrying about individual words and you start feeling the whole phrase.
Okay, I can see how that would help. Now, step 4. This is the one everyone hates. The feedback loop, which means recording yourself.
I hate this. Everyone hates this. Hearing your own voice played back to you is a unique form of torture.
Why do we hate it so much? Is there a scientific reason?
There is, actually. It's physiological. When you speak, you hear your own voice primarily through bone conduction in your skull, which makes it sound deeper and richer to you.
Okay.
When you hear a recording, you're hearing it through air conduction, which is how everyone else hears you. It sounds higher and thinner. It creates a dissonance in the brain. You think, that's not me. I sound terrible.
But the source is, we have to just get over that cringe. We have to do it.
You have to. Because the recording is the only objective truth you have. When you're speaking in the moment, your brain is too busy processing finding words, moving muscles, to notice your own mistakes.
Right.
You think you said, he'd go to the store. You listen to the recording and you clearly hear the mistake. It allows you to be your own teacher.
And they also mention using it to track your progress.
Oh, that is absolutely crucial for motivation. If you record yourself speaking for 2 minutes today and then you do it again in 30 days, you will hear a difference. And that tangible proof is what keeps you going when you feel like you're stuck. It validates all the effort.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, step 5, practice with purpose. This seems to be about moving from just parroting to actually creating.
Yes, exactly. So don't just repeat the sentence, the cat is on the mat. You have to play with it. Change it. Ask a question. Is the cat on the mat? Why is the cat on the mat? Or make a statement. I hate that cat.
That cat owes me money.
Exactly. Make it weird. Make it your own. Make it real. The equation from the source is simple. Real usage equals real improvement. You have to manipulate the language. You have to bend it to your will. That is the moment you truly start to own it.
So those are the big tactical steps. But the source material also gives us some micro exercises. They describe them as being like the burpees of language learning.
I love that description. They're quick, they're intense, and they're effective.
Let's walk through what they call the upgrade workout.
Okay, so these are basically affirmation sentences, but they serve a dual purpose. They practice the mechanics of speaking, but they also work to reprogram your mindset.
Okay, the first sentence is, I am learning English every day.
Simple, present, continuous tense. It establishes an identity. You aren't just trying to learn, you are actively learning. It's a statement of fact.
I like that. The second one is, speaking English is becoming easier and fun.
This is pure cognitive reframing. You are telling your brain that this activity isn't a threat, it's a game. If your brain perceives it as fun, it lowers the cortisol levels, the stress hormones.
And when stress goes down,
Learning capacity goes up dramatically.
okay, the third affirmation. I can communicate confidently in English.
That's visualization. You are visualizing the end state. You're creating the reality you want to inhabit.
And then they add this really interesting customization layer to it.
This is key. They ask you to add your own personal details. So it's not just I am learning English, it's I am learning English while driving to work. It's not just I can communicate confidently, it's I can communicate confidently with my colleagues in our team meeting.
So it grounds the affirmation in your actual real life.
Exactly. It stops being a generic slogan and it becomes your personal truth.
This all connects back to the core philosophy that Ryan mentions throughout the material, which is the muscle analogy. And his big point is consistency over intensity.
Absolutely. I would take a listener who does these micro exercises for 5 minutes every single day over a listener who crams and studies grammar for 4 hours once a week on a Sunday.
It's the difference between brushing your teeth for 2 minutes every day versus trying to brush them for an hour just on Sunday morning.
Hey, right. One works, the other is just painful and ineffective. The daily habit is what builds the neural myelin. The binge session just causes stress and burnout.
Okay, so we have the theory, we have the diagnosis of the problem, and we have the training drills. Now, I want to pivot to the second part of our source material because this is where we get to see the entire methodology in action.
This is where it all comes together.
We have the interview template.
This is a goldmine. This is the literal word-for-word script that Ryan and Mary use when they interview guests who are often non-native speakers on their show.
And looking at this script, it's not just a random list of questions. It is structured so specifically, so intentionally.
It is an architectural blueprint for creating psychological safety. The goal of this script isn't just to get information from the guest. The goal is to make the guest capable of speaking fluently in the first place. It is designed step by step to lower anxiety and build momentum.
I've got the script right here in front of me. Let's read through it and really analyze why they do what they do in the order that they do it.
Let's do it.
So the opening line from the host is, "Hello and welcome to the English Upgrade podcast. This is a space for real conversations, real voices, and real experiences shared in English."
Okay, stop right there. That first sentence is already doing so much work. It's setting the stage. It's telling the guest, this is a safe space. We value real voices, not perfect voices. The pressure is already coming down.
Right, the emphasis on real. Then the very first question to the guest is, please introduce yourself to our listeners. Tell us your name, where you're from, and a little about what you do.
This is what you'd call a grounding question. Why do they start here? Because it is impossible to get this wrong. You know your name, you know where you are from, you know what your job is. It gives the speaker an immediate and easy win. Their very first interaction with the microphone is 100% successful.
And that must lower the heart rate.
It lowers the heart rate and it creates a foundation of confidence to build on. It establishes momentum. If they started by asking, what is your opinion on the future of geopolitical economics? The guest would just freeze up.
They'd be done.
Exactly. So you start with the self. It's the one subject you are the world's leading expert on.
Okay, next part of the script. The host says, "Thank you for being here on the English Upgrade podcast. Let's start with your journey. How has English been part of your life?"
This question establishes the context, but more than that, it acknowledges the struggle. It allows the guest to frame themselves as a learner. It takes the pressure off of being perfect because they are essentially saying from the start, I am on a journey. It validates that they are still in the process.
It lowers the expectations in a really healthy way. It invites a story, a narrative, rather than just a dry fact.
And narrative is so much easier for the brain to latch onto than abstract facts. Everyone can tell their own story.
Then comes the deep dive prompt. After the guest answers, The script says, "That's really interesting. Can you share more about that experience?"
This is the bridge. The host is asking for elaboration. This gently pushes the speaker from simple, factual sentences to more complex storytelling. But notice what the host isn't doing.
What's that?
The host isn't correcting them. The host isn't saying, you used the wrong verb there. The host is saying, I am interested in your story. Tell me more.
That validation must be huge for the speaker. The message is, I am listening to you, not grading your grammar.
And that shift in focus from form to content is the secret key that unlocks fluency. When you forget that you're speaking English and you just focus on telling your story, the words often flow so much better. You stop self-monitoring and self-editing.
Next, they ask a reflective question. It says, how do you feel when you speak English today compared to before?
Remember what we talked about earlier about recording yourself to track progress? This question forces the guest to do that exact same thing, but live on the air. It forces them to look back and say, hey, wait a minute, I used to be terrified. And now look at me, I'm on a podcast speaking English to thousands of people.
It cements their confidence in that moment. It makes them acknowledge their own achievement. I am actually doing this right now.
It's a massive self-efficacy boost. It reinforces the neural pathway in their brain that says, I am a competent speaker.
Then comes my favorite part of the script. I think it's brilliant. They call it the peer-to-peer wisdom section. The question is, what would you say to someone listening right now who wants to improve their English?
This is a masterful psychological flip. It completely changes the power dynamic. It turns the student into the teacher.
Oh, I love that. The student becomes the teacher.
Think about it. When you feel like the learner, you feel submissive, you feel unsure, maybe a little small. But when you are the mentor, you feel powerful. You feel like you have value and wisdom to give. By asking this question, the hosts are empowering the guests to own their own expertise, the expertise they gained through their struggle.
It validates their entire journey. It says, my mistakes taught me something valuable, and now I can teach it to you.
Precisely. It turns the muddy water of their mistakes into pure gold. It gives meaning to the entire struggle.
And finally, the interview ends with this question. Before we wrap up, tell us a little about what you enjoy doing in your free time.
The humanizing element.
Why do you think they put this at the very end? Why not at the start, as a sort of icebreaker?
Well, it does act as a nice cool down, but more importantly, it reminds everyone, the guests, the host, and the listener, that we are all more than just English speakers or English learners. We are hikers, we are gamers, we are parents, we are musicians. It ends the entire interaction on a note of shared humanity.
It reinforces the idea that language is just a tool to connect humans. It's not a test to be passed.
Speak with power. Be understood everywhere. The be understood part is the key. If I tell you about my hobby of hiking, and you understand what I mean, we have won. The communication was successful, even if I use the wrong verb tense to say it.
So the interview script itself is a tool. It's a machine for building confidence. It guides the guest from simple facts, a personal narrative, to self-reflection, to a position of empowerment, and then finally to a simple human connection.
It's a complete ecosystem. It perfectly mirrors the learning journey itself.
So if we synthesize all of this, if we bring everything we've talked about together, we have the mechanics of the brain, the input versus output gap. We have the 5 psychological barriers, the fear, the translation, the passive habits, the comparison, the vocabulary hesitation.
Right.
We have the tactical physical exercises, narration, shadowing, recording yourself. And finally, we have this beautiful roadmap for how to structure a safe and successful conversation.
It is a truly comprehensive system, and the takeaway when you boil it all down is very, very clear. You cannot think your way to fluency.
You have to speak your way there.
You have to embrace the messy, awkward, stumbling process of output. You have to open your mouth and make sounds, even if they're the wrong sounds at first.
You have to be willing to sound foolish for a little while so that you can sound powerful later. You have to be willing to trade your ego for progress.
That's it right there. Trade your ego for progress.
And you have to stop translating in your head and start associating words with reality. So narrate the coffee you're making. Shadow the podcast you're listening to. Record the bad takes and learn from them.
And please remember, don't compare your day 1 to someone else's day 10,000.
This has been a really, really enlightening look at what is often a terrifying hurdle for so many people. And honestly, as we close out, I'm thinking this applies to so much more than just learning English.
Oh, it applies to everything. Learning to code, public speaking, learning to cook, leadership at work.
Right? Where else in your life are you a professional listener? Where are you just consuming content, reading all the business books, watching all the cooking tutorials, but you're freezing when it's actually time to chop the onion or lead the team meeting?
That is the provocative question to leave people with. Where are you hiding in the input comfort zone? Because it is warm and it is safe in there, but absolutely nothing grows there.
Maybe it's time for all of us to start narrating the day in those other areas of our lives too. Just start the messy process of output.
Action is the only way to close the gap. It's the only way.
Thank you for listening to this deep dive into the English upgrade methodology. We really hope you found some tools you can use, whether you're learning a language or just learning how to be a little bit braver.
Go out there and speak with power.
See you next time.